Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of Popcorn Problems. My name is Elon Pressman, and I'm here with my very good friend and fellow co-host,
Nicholas Sapasco. Every week, we'll make sure you're caught up with the biggest news and movies in Hollywood.
This week, we're reviewing Peacemaker Season 2, our first ever TV show review, which I should probably address, but I think we'll save that for what we've watched, won't we, Nick?
Alrighty then.
Okay, so let's start with What's Poppin', where we run through the biggest news stories of the week. We have a lot to talk about this week, guys, because, well, first I just want to start off by mentioning it was New York Comic Con, which means that me and Nick went to Comic Con on the Sunday, and we had a great time. We met a lot of cool people, some comic artists. We met Charlie Cox, the actor for Daredevil. It was pretty fun.
Super chill guy, by the way.
Yeah, really cool guy. So Nick, what did you think of Comic Con?
It was fun, bro. It was chill just to be in that environment, around all of those, I guess, like-minded people, nerds, you know what I mean? Just to be in that environment with a bunch of nerds and just be oh my god, thing I recognize, pop culture reference. It sounds like I'm making fun of it, but it was really neat, you know? And also just
totally
being in the space with all these comic book artists, and not just comic book artists, but just general artists in general. Hearing them talk about their work and their process and just how they feel about it and how proud they are about it. It's just really, I don't know, it's really neat. It's a really nice environment that I would like to go back to sometime, whether it be New York Comic Con or another con.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I loved it. I had a great time. I do think that they definitely sold way too many tickets this year, or this specific con, because it was
packed.
Really, really, really packed. So that would be my one complaint. And I was also reading online, a lot of other people were saying that this year was oversold, way too many people.
I see.
So hopefully next year, which I do plan to go again, they won't make that same mistake.
Yeah, no. The other thing too is I was gonna say something. Yeah, it was really packed, and also just all of the corridors, all of the things were so scrunched up. Everybody was going in fucking traffic lanes essentially, and I feel there was so much to do that you needed more than one day to do it. So you needed to kind of be in a rush for everything, properly scheduled.
I think that next year I might do a 4-day pass.
I mean, shit, man, I get it. I don't know if I do that, me personally, but
no, I got you. Yeah.
That'd be
I think
cool.
I would, just to do all the panels and really do everything, really get the whole use out of it.
Bro, next year's gonna be crazy with Avengers coming out and everything. Shit.
Yeah. So Comic-Con happened this week, so we have a ton of news stories to talk about. But before we do that, let's kind of talk about the box office. So number one this week was Tron Ares.
Okay.
Which I'm not gonna say too much about. Like I said, we'll address it in what we watched. Mm-hmm. But it opened at 33.5 million domestically and 60.5 globally, on a budget of 180 million, and it fell below projections. So that's not surprising. The word of mouth was really bad. And also 67% of tickets came from premium formats like IMAX, Dolby, whatever, which is also something I'm going to bring up later on. The second movie at the box office this week was Roof Man, which is a Channing Tatum Toys R Us movie, which I actually really want to see. I think I'm going to go see it tomorrow. That opened at 8 million on a budget of 19 million. And at number 3 is One Battle After Another. It fell 39%, making $6.7 million domestically. And it is at $138 million globally. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I mean, no, yeah. I mean, for the third week, it's been 3 weeks, right? For third week to still get 6 million, I mean, it's not great or anything, obviously.
That's only domestically. That's not.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. Obviously, it's not great, but it's also not bad for a movie like this, a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. You know, it being his most successful. I'm very glad it's doing well, and it continues to do well.
Yeah. Alternatively, The Smashing Machine, in its second weekend, fell 69%. It's
yikes.
Number 8 in the box office, making $1.8 million domestically.
That's rough.
Yeah, it's at $11.3 million globally on a $50 million budget.
That must be rough for Benny Safdie to hear after like all the. I'm sure I don't know if we're talking about this. I don't know if this is planned, but after all like the good press for Marty Supreme. I mean, I don't know what sort of relationship they have. It might just be all in my head. No, not might just. It is all in my head. Like whatever I'm imagining whatever between those two. But it must be kind of crazy to hear. Just like seeing how unsuccessful Slash Machine was, and then like seeing how Marty Supreme might be great or successful. I don't know.
Yeah, which we will also be talking about that.
All right.
Yeah, and so overall, this weekend only made $70.4 million, which was down 14.6% from last week.
Mm-hmm.
But 25 in general is still 4% ahead of 2024. So interesting. This upcoming weekend, there are a few good releases, so I think money will be made this coming weekend.
All right, bet.
Yeah, okay, so that's at the end of the box office stuff, and now into our news stories. So, as you mentioned, Marty Supreme screened at New York Film Festival this weekend. This past week, to, like, raving reviews. It's apparently, phenomenal, and I know they said this about his performance last year in A Complete Unknown, but they're saying this is Timmy's Oscar to win, and I'm really excited for that movie. With all that press, we kind of got some insight from Timothée Chalamet on how he prepared for this movie, and I just kind of I thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to mention it. So he had secretly trained for ping pong for 6 years. He's been all in on the project. Like, he's been working with Josh Safdie since 2018. He's been learning since 2018, even before they even got financing for the movie. He brought ping pong tables to a ton of sets. Wonka, Dune Part 2, the film festival Cannes when they were promoting the Wes Anderson movie. I think it was French Dispatch.
Yeah, the French Dispatch.
That's the one he's in. Yeah. And in COVID, he had a whole he cleared his living room to have a table tenant like a setup of ping pong in there in his living room, and I just think that's so cool. Like he really put in the work for this movie, and I'm hyped. I'm really hyped.
Bro was playing ping pong, reading Dune, learning the harmonica, playing the guitar as well.
This guy actually is like white boy of like the century. Like he's
and through all of it, still hanging out with Kylie Jenner, bro. Like that's insane. Like genuinely crazy.
Going to all the Knicks games, bro. Fucking Lisan Al Gaib.
He literally is Lisan Al Gaib, bro. And like I don't know if you saw the like press tour that he's doing like for himself for Marty Supreme, where like he's like surrounding himself like around all these like orange ping pong ball, like the Marty Supreme ball.
Yeah. When he revealed his buzz cut for Dune 3,
right?
Exactly.
I think I don't know, all of that stuff, like I've never really seen an actor do that before.
He's so cool. I love him. He's actually probably like, given in like 20 years, he'll probably be one of my favorite actors.
Oh, for sure. I don't know, like that's the thing, like he's still bro hasn't even hit his 30s, dog. Bro hasn't even hit his 30s, and he's already made this big mark that he has, bro. Like who knows what future lies ahead of him. I hope it's nothing but success. Hope if anything goes, obviously if nothing goes wrong, but like it's just crazy to think about how young this kid is, how much work he's already put in. Like, you know, this is his dream job. You know, you can tell he's been wanting this his whole life, and now he has it, and he's not gonna like waste it type shit. I'm really looking forward to this movie, and I'm really looking forward to see what his future holds. For sure. I was blessed by the bass god.
For sure. So the next story I want to talk about is Indy the dog from Good Boy is petitioning himself for Best Actor. So most competitors run traditional 4-year consideration campaigns, but the IFC, which is the studio behind Good Boy, which is if you don't know, the horror movie that's like the dog is the main character and he like sees some horror stuff surrounding his owner, and I watched it. It was really good. I'm going to talk about that later as well. The main character is the dog, obviously, and the dog is the director's dog. His name is Indy. So the studio had the dog make a petition for the Academy. On behalf of the dog, they made a petition for the
dog
Academy.
Wrote up the petition himself. Like he went on Google Docs and just
basically in the letter he was questioning why he was deemed ineligible for the Best Actor category, and he made a joke like in the letter. he's like, am I not good enough of a boy for you guys? And I just think it's really funny because my Letterboxd review for the movie was literally like best performance by an actor or dog. So it's like I made that joke, and then this happened, and so I think it's really funny.
Yeah, no, I saw somebody say on Twitter like pay your taxes first, then we'll consider you for best actor category. How about that? Huh? How about that? No, I think it's cute. Whatever they're doing. I also saw that they gave him Letterboxd gave him like the top 4 top 4 movies or whatever.
Yeah. I really like the whole good boy like marketing campaign shtick.
Yeah,
it's really
it's
fun.
cute. It's cute. Do we know how well it did this weekend, or just like how well it's been doing in general?
I could tell you. It opened, so it was 10th in the marketplace. It had a 2.3 million budget, and this weekend it made 4.86 million.
Great.
4.8. Yeah. So, sorry. This weekend it made 1.36 million, but domestic total is 4.86. So it's already doubled its budget. So it's
all right.
It's
Well, that's good.
Green. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, people seem to like it. It seems like a good movie. I'm very happy for this like kind of really weird concept of like what the fuck, a dog being the main character for like a horror movie, especially. I don't know. I'm very happy that this weird. Worked. I'm sure it worked. I do want to give it a look see myself, but I'm just glad that this really took off.
Yeah, me too. So the last story I want to talk about before we get into Comic-Con stuff is that there was rumors circulating that Paramount is in talks to buy Warner Bros. Discovery. And they shot their first offer this week, and it was rejected. Their offer was a $20 per share takeover, which is about $3. They would make like $3 per share, because the Warner Bros. Stock is at about $17 right now. The Paramount CVO is considering these 3 things as like next steps. They're going to raise the offer. They're trying to bypass the board and just go directly to the shareholders, which would be pretty crazy. And then they're trying to find like more financing from other outside opportunities. The deal in general needs about $50 billion, the estimate is, in financing. And plus, once they're going to buy the company, they're going to take on the $30 billion of debt that Warner Bros. Is currently in. So let's just call it $80 billion. The CEO of Warner Bros., David Zaslav, thinks that the streaming and studio assets are going to be worth a lot more after they split next year, because they already have a planned split. So they are
Wait, what do you mean by plan? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. What do you mean by planned split? Like...
Yeah, so I think from my understanding is that they're going to be splitting the movies and streaming from like the cable network and make them 2 separate companies.
Okay.
And so it'll make like, because apparently right now the cable networks are making the Warner Bros. Look bad, from what I read. So they're saying that the split will help. I don't really know how that would work, but that's just what he said.
All right.
Yeah, so interesting. I mean, you never take the first offer. Obviously, I'm not surprised that this offer got rejected. Because you always want to negotiate for a better deal. And I don't know. I don't know if Paramount buying Warner Bros. Is a good thing. I don't know if I don't think we need less studios in this.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good thing.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I'm not a big fan of this. I don't think this is a good thing. I mean, first off, I really like Warner Brothers. I was like, as a studio, I feel like they've had a great track record this year. Honestly, like one battle after another.
This has been their year.
Really, honestly, which is like surprising.
Minecraft, Final Destination, they
Sinners.
With Apple. Yeah, they partnered with Apple on F1.
Yeah,
they had The Conjuring, which was really successful. I know they had we mentioned earlier in an earlier episode, but they had 6 in a row of over 40 million releases.
Yeah, I remember that. No, that's what I'm saying. Like they've had banger after banger this year, and that's what I mean. Like I really like Warner Brothers having its own identity. Still being the same old Warner Brothers of taking risks on things, on big things, having all the stability to do that. Being the face of, DC Comics and, well, not the face, but I guess the studio behind DC Comics, and also the Looney Tunes and everything like that. I really love it how Warner Brothers has this own personal identity, and then just kind of being murked up by Paramount, which, I mean, first off, I don't even know how Paramount got all this money to buy Warner Brothers in the first place. They haven't been doing great.
Yeah. Yeah,
Let's check Paramount Plus streaming service numbers, bro. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, if this does go through, maybe they'll mix like HBO. They'll merge HBO Max and Paramount Plus.
Maybe, I guess, sure. I mean, I don't see why they can't do that to begin with already, like without needing to mix the two studios. But yeah, I just feel I'm like afraid of it being kind of like a 20th Century Fox or Disney buying 20th Century Fox for sort of situation where
it's totally that. It's totally
that. But I mean I didn't really care for 20th Century Fox obviously like as a company in itself. But it completely lost its identity. There's basically no more 20th Century Fox. I saw a movie, The Roses, released by 20th Century Fox like a few weeks ago. It's a Disney property now. It's all Disney. And so that's what I mean when I say like it loses its personal identity. And I feel like Warner Brothers has more low-key more clout than Paramount. So I just don't understand where this kind of like where this deal were to make sense other than monetarily, like in terms of like, yeah.
Warner, from my understanding, is Warner Bros. Has kind of been in the shitter up until this past year with box office and like streaming and just all they have debt. Like I said, they have a hell of debt. So I think they're just looking. They've been looking for a way to fix that situation. I guess this is one of the ways that they've rendered to fix it. I don't know. I'm not really a business person, so I couldn't really tell you.
No, that's fair. No, and I know that's right also just because like that's why all like the studio merging was happening and all like with the Discovery and David Zaslav being a thing, like that's why all of this like insecurity or instability with Warner Brothers has like been occurring over the past few years. Like we've been seeing just because of the amount of debt that they've accrued, which I'd really honestly like to know why as well, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a sad state of affairs for the state of Hollywood. Like we need more individual studios with their own individual identities and personalities, not just a big wallet. And yeah, it's just depressing to think about if it actually goes through.
It is. It's unfortunate that that's I guess like the world that we live in.
Yeah.
But I guess all we can do is sit in our chair and wait till we get the message that it's gone through, because it's not like they're backing away from the deal. They're just going to be renegotiating a new one.
Yeah, I can't wait to work for Para Disney Warner Group, the ultra media conglomerate, bro. They're gonna
everything owned by one, and it's like funded by the government.
Exactly, bro. They're gonna download movies straight into our corneas, and that's how we're gonna see them.
Ooh. Okay, Lucky, I'm sold.
You're target audience, bro.
Yeah. All right, so now let's kind of get into some of the Comic-Con updates. There's a lot of them, so I'm gonna kind of just list them off, and we'll give a few ideas for each one.
So for full transparency, we didn't see any of these like panels or cons. We just went on the day that didn't have anything.
Yeah, this isn't from my own like being there. This is just from me reading about it online and just
for sure.
Anyway, so Invincible season 4, they had a panel on Friday. Is gonna be a March release, which is similar to the time frame from last year. We finally got the confirmation of who is going to be voicing Thrag, which is a really big, for people who are not familiar with the comics, he's like the big bad of the Invincible universe, and we're finally gonna meet him in this next season. And we got his name. He's gonna be played by Lee Pace, which I'm not personally too familiar with. The most popular thing that he's been in is he played Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I can see the voice working, and also he did like his Thrag voice in the con, and you can look it up online, and it sounds pretty good. So I'm excited for this season in general. I'm excited to see how Thrag is going to look animated, because we've got some stills, but I need to see how it looks in motion. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
It's going to be hype.
Yeah. So another thing is that we got Daredevil season 2 also confirmed for March, which is nuts. I mean, that's going to be a fucking month. We got official confirmation of Jessica Jones returning. She went on stage with Charlie Cox, Kristen Ritter, and then they played the trailer, which confirmed that Foggy, who, if you didn't know, was murked in the last season, is confirmed to appear in what looks like a flashback scene. So that's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually met the actor Eldon Hudson, I think.
Yeah.
At a con last week, and he looked me right in the eye and said that he wasn't gonna be in it. So I hilarious.
Bro's a liar.
Okay, so season 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was confirmed to debut in fall of 2026, with Daredevil confirmed to return in his classic suit, and also Venom is going to be introduced to the series, which is cool.
Wasn't he? Wait. Sorry, I haven't seen the full first season, so I don't know. But wasn't he like the monster at the very end that Doctor Strange was fighting, or something like that?
I think it was like a symbiote monster, but it was never referred to as Venom. I don't think.
I see.
I haven't seen the episode since I watched it originally.
That's fair.
But I don't think they ever called it. They never called it Venom, and they made a point to say that they were bringing Venom into the series. So right. Yeah. And then X-Men 97 was renewed for season 3 before season 2 was even released, which is really cool because X-Men 97 season 1 was awesome. The last thing that I want to mention for Comic-Con is that the last thing I want to mention Marvel related for Comic-Con is that we got a teaser for Wonder Man, which is essentially inside the MCU. There's a movie called Wonder Man, which is a superhero movie in their universe, and the plot is them rebooting that movie with in the trailer they have the director literally saying, "Why one more superhero film? Everyone is tired of superheroes." So I wasn't really that excited for this until I saw that, and now it's like kind of like gonna be like making commentary on the superhero genre in general, and I know it's gonna be like a inside Hollywood type of thing. I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good. Yaha Abdul Mateen 2 is gonna be playing Simon Williams / Wonder Man, and the plot setup officially is that the hero auditions to play the movie version of Wonder Man, leading into industry satire, and it's gonna release on January 27th, 2026, all at once. Nick, what do you think about Wonder Man?
I'm actually very excited for Wonder Man, even before like the trailer came out or everything like that. When they announced it as this sort of like, I mean, it's kind of the story that I like, where like, I'm a big fan of like, superhero spectacles and like movies where the superhero is beating up the bad guy and everything like that. But also, like, more personally, I'm a fan of like movies where the superhero is just like kind of living his life, trying to do his thing, like, and he just happens to have powers or like happens to be the special person, but he's like still achieving a goal separate from also being the superhero. I think that's why I like Invincible so much, even though I know like Invincible. She-Hulk. Yeah, that's exactly why I like She-Hulk. But like, yeah, I think that's also why I like Invincible, because it is about like, beating up the bad guy, but it's also like it's a very personal story about Mark and everything like that. And so yeah, when they announced Wonder Man as this like, oh, it's this actor who happens to have powers and he's gonna play a superhero role, and he's just like whatever navigating through all of that, I was very excited. I was very hyped for it, and everyone looks very good for the role. I've never seen Yaha Abdul Mateen II in anything.
Have you seen Aquaman?
Oh shit, you're right. Is he Manta?
He's Black Manta.
Oh shit, never mind. Okay. Yeah, I have seen something of his.
And he's been in something else that I know of, but I can't for the life of me remember.
Is it?
For a fact, he's Black Manta.
Matrix Resurrection, Candyman, Watchmen. I don't know. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Oh, he's in Us as well. The Greatest Showman as well. Yeah, he's been in a bunch.
Watchmen. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He played Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. But yeah, no, like I'm excited for this, and then I saw the trailer. I do think it is interesting how they are gonna like comment on superhero fatigue. I don't know if they're gonna say anything interesting with it, just because like I feel like that's Marvel. When it comes to like Marvel and actually talking about something happening in the real world, whether it be like politics or whether it be like culture, they mainly just like use it as like a jumping board to like deliver whatever story they want to say, and never really address like the actual like, you know, real world issue isn't the word, but like the actual real world event like superhero fatigue that's currently happening right now. I don't know if they're going to do anything interesting with that. I hope so. I don't really have my breath. I'm not really holding my breath for it. I'm more just interested in the character of Wonder Man itself and how they play him, what they do with him.
Totally.
Yeah, and also something I just found out right now. The creator of Wonder Man is Destin Daniel Cretton, so that's something to be hyped about.
Oh yeah. He, I think he's directing like 3 of the episodes too, which is cool.
That's cool. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I think that's neat. Yeah, I'm excited for Wonder Man.
Yeah. So there's just 3 more things I wanted to mention. Bradley Cooper is confirmed to be starring opposite Margot Robbie in Warner Bros. Ocean's 11 prequel.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ryan Gosling was originally in that role, but now it's Bradley Cooper. Sky has acquired A24 and Peacock's Friday the 13th prequel series, Crystal Lake, which is going to debut next year.
So by acquired, you mean like acquired publishing, like they're distributing it or something like that?
They're going to distribute it in the UK and Ireland, because I don't think they have Peacock over there.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And Megan Fox and Matthew Patrick from Game Theory both joined the cast of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, playing Toy Chica and Toy Bonnie respectively. And then the voice actor for all the Freddy versions, I think his name is Kellen Goff.
Yeah.
He's playing Toy Freddy, which makes sense because he pretty much voices Freddy and everything.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah,
about Kellen Goff, just because like, you know, they usually, I mean, they're already doing it, but they usually switch out like these like already iconic voices for like celebrity main characters. Like they did that for Sonic. They've done that before.
For Mario.
Keeping him as really, for Mario, exactly. Very happy they're keeping Kellen Goff.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all the news that I thought was interesting enough to share. Pretty stacked week. Now let's move into what we watched. So I guess let's address the Tron situation. So me and Nick went to watch Tron in AMC Lincoln Square, which, if you don't know, has the biggest IMAX screen in the country. And we went there and we watched it. Watched in quotations, I guess, because like we both fell asleep. It was bad. Not even the big screen could save that movie for us. Not. So we didn't feel like comfortable giving it that being the main review for this episode, which is why we were switching it to Peacemaker. We didn't want to waste our time, and we didn't want to waste your time on this movie because it's a joke. So we'll mention it in what we watch, but it's not going to get the main feature. So we both watched it, so we'll both give a few notes on it. So Nick, would you like to go first on Tron?
Yeah, it was just not good. Don't waste your time. Honestly, there isn't really anything. People keep saying like, oh, but the music is good though at least, and like, yeah, it's not bad. It's 9 Inch Nails. What are you gonna get? I love them making the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soundtrack a few years ago. They're great, but if you're just going for the music, just listen to the album that's like on Spotify or whatever. You don't need to watch the movie.
The exact note I was gonna give.
There you go. Exactly. There you go. You don't need to watch the movie. You don't need to waste 2 hours of your time looking at Jared Leto's ugly fucking mug. Through on the biggest screen in America in the world.
I got Jared Leto close up, man.
We saw all of his oozing pores.
All
of his secreting eyelids. It was disgusting. It was horrible. No, yeah, just don't waste your time. I feel bad for Evan Peters because he's a good actor. I like him, but he always gets typecasted as these like villain roles, and like he's still kind of sort of a villain in this movie, but also like I don't know, I think they're trying to build up a redemption arc once.
Really? I think he was just a villain, but that's the thing, this movie doesn't know what it wants to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything just kind of happens and doesn't really get explained, or gets explained in like the most like exposition-y way possible. There's like a gimmick in the movie where the Tron people only have 29 minutes to exist in the real world. So it's like, oh, there's your plot structure. You only got your 29 minutes. Let's manufacture some tension, and it's just such a waste of time. To be honest, I was so bored. Like I said, I fell asleep. I just didn't care. No one in the movie particularly was played well. Nothing was particularly interesting other than the soundtrack. So I would say put in 2 AirPods and put that shit on blast. Enjoy the soundtrack. It's great. But don't waste your time with this movie.
Yeah, and it's also so obvious that like they're trying to build up a franchise. You know what I mean? Especially with, I mean, I don't know if we don't need to talk about. I was the only one who saw the ending. I know you didn't. Should I mention it? You think?
Yeah, go ahead. If you
sure. Spoiler warning.
Yeah, no one cares though. I mean,
whatever. Spoiler warning in case you were gonna watch Tron for some godforsaken reason this weekend or whatever. Don't. But spoiler warning, real quick. At the very end, Jared Leto's character, he starts off being like an AI for the bad guy. He's like designed to be like a soldier that you can regenerate, and then by the end, like he loses his ability to regenerate because he gets the permanence code, and now he's like a human / AI / whatever. He can like roam around in the earth without worrying about those 29 minutes. And at the very end, they're like the main character girl that like teams up with Jared Leto, they're like writing letters to each other, and he's like across the country and God knows where, South America type shit. And she's like, oh, are you gonna like come back or whatever? And he's like, in due time I'll come back. And then like also Evan Peters' character, he gets zapped into the Tron world, and it's like established that like he might be like the next big bad. And I say redemption arc because like at the very beginning, like they show that like, or not at the very beginning, something happens where he like feels bad about something that the AI did, but then he's like trapped in the AI world. And I don't know, it's just so obvious that nothing is happening in this movie, and that the only reason that it exists is to build up a future franchise of maybe a trilogy, maybe whoever knows, the next Star Wars. Essentially, they're trying to just make the next Star Wars, and it's never going to work out, at least not with Tron.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is this franchise was never really that successful in the box office, at least.
Never.
It came out in the 80s, didn't make money, then I guess became popular. Then they rebooted in 2010, didn't make money, and then I guess it got popular, and then they did it again. And it once again, for its budget, didn't really make enough money, and it's definitely not going to make any more money, because no one's going to go fucking see that shit, I promise you. It's just, they're trying to make Tron happen, and Tron just isn't happening.
And I have a feeling this one isn't going to get popular, like not like the other two.
No, it's not. I haven't seen the other two, but I can imagine that there's some redeeming qualities, but this one was just a waste of my time, and honestly served as a nice snap.
Yeah, man, it was a good sleeper. What can I say? Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. It sucks. Don't give Jared Leto or Disney any more of your money that they don't deserve. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. I also want to quickly mention, like I said earlier, I did watch Good Boy this week. Yeah, I just want to say it was a really fun watch. It's a quick hour, 13-minute horror movie. It was pretty scary. If you like dogs, you'll definitely be on the edge of you'll definitely feel uncomfortable. You'll definitely have that horror movie feeling. And I just think for such a small film, such a low budget, I think it was really well made. I think it looked nice. I think some of the camera work was really cool. And yeah, Nick, I recommend that you go watch it, and I recommend that anyone interested would definitely go watch it.
Yeah, for sure. I have a plan. It's good in and out. We'll see when it comes around.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that you want to mention?
No, honestly, I haven't really been on top of my game on watching stuff. I just watched Smiling Friends season 3 episode 2 last night. That was pretty fun. I don't need to give like a full review about that. It was honestly pretty funny. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really watch anything other than Tron. And it was disappointing, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of what we watched, and brings us into this week's main feature, Peacemaker Season 2. I'm going to start with a quick spoiler-free summary. Chris Peacemaker Smith is a mercenary who believes he is pursuing freedom and peace when he is really just killing people. What makes him who he is? How is his life? Who are his friends? Nick, give your overall thoughts on Peacemaker Season 2.
Shit, man. I mean, it felt like a whole lot of buildup. A lot of buildup that I was very interested for. I was very interested about, like, throughout the whole thing. I was like, oh, can't wait to see what the next thing happens. but then it never really pays off, or when it does pay off, at least to the end of the season, it's just like uninteresting to me. I just like, okay, well, this means nothing to me so far, and we'll talk about it more when we enter spoiler territory. But I get what they were doing with the with every character's like emotional arcs and everything, like, you know, concluding in the way that it did. But overall, a lot of interesting things happened in the season, but they're so, I guess, separate from each other. Like the traveling to different worlds, and then like the Rick Flag, even though, like, you know, they're all in the same season of Peacemaker, I feel like everything is so separate, and it won't pay off until something interesting, until like 3 or 4 years down the line, which at the end of the day, it just left me feeling empty by the end of season 2. I still liked season 2 for moments, but as a whole, it really was underwhelming.
I have to say, I do agree the finale was underwhelming, and we'll get to that specifics in spoilers, but overall, I had a phenomenal time with this season. Okay. Maybe it's just because I love the character of Peacemaker. I love, you know, the supporting cast. I just really enjoyed every minute of the season. It was definitely too short. Every episode, I mean, we had like a 30-minute episode, some, you know, 35-minute episodes. Definitely has its problems. It is a lot of build-up, but I'm not gonna lie, it worked for me. I think the humor was there. The bird nut blindness jokes, just every time. I still see clips of them on TikTok, and it still fucking gets me.
Yeah,
hilarious. Yeah. The animal facts from Vigilante. I mean, Vigilante in general, like, he was definitely underserved in the first half of the season, but he really was some of the highlight of the end. He was so funny. He was played so well. I love Vigilantes. Right now, one of my favorite DCU characters. I think Adebayo's arc was really good. I think Harcourt's arc was really good, and really proved that Jennifer Holland isn't just James Gunn's wife, and but also like can, you know, hold her own, and, you know, actually meaningfully contribute to a season of television. Not saying that she was bad in the last season, but she just was kind of there.
One-dimensional a little bit.
Yeah, but this season really builds on that. I think Econogoat was so funny. I couldn't tell you who my favorite character is because I love them all. Mm-hmm. Judo Master was great. We had the introduction, not the introduction, but the introduction to the show of Frank Grillo's Rick Flag Sr., which we will get into in spoilers, but I think he was a pretty cool part of the season. What else can I talk about without really getting into spoilers? I think it looked good. I think it looked really nice. Mm-hmm. I think it was shot well. I like the way James Gunn shoots stuff, especially the way he shoots like talking scenes. I think he just keeps them, like, he keeps the movement very rapid and engaging. I really like that. Yeah, and there's definitely things to not like you said. There is a lot of building, and it definitely payoffs some of that building, but I think some not as well, which is unfortunate, but, you know, it couldn't be a perfect season, I guess. And also I want to mention the intro. Phenomenal.
Oh yeah, the intro is great.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much on my first watch, but then on subsequent watches and every week that passed, I liked it more and more and more and more. It is... it's hard for me to say it's better than season 1 just because season 1's intro was so perfect, but it was a great successor. I'll say that. Do you have any other spoiler-free thoughts before we kind of move into spoilers?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I never left every Thursday night. Well, I guess I didn't watch the Thursday nights, but I never left Thursday night unsatisfied. Up until the very end, like I was enjoying the season like thoroughly every time I watched it. You know what I mean? There would be like high moments, low moments, whatever. I think the lower moments for me was when the focus was off like Peacemaker, moreover, or the focus was off Argus. I'm not the biggest fan of everyone in the 11th Street Kids. I just think like some of them aren't as interesting as, let's say, like Peacemaker or Hardcore or Vigilante. Those are like my top 3. Oh, and Economos. I don't know. some of them are just like their stories were just not as interesting. I do.
So Adebayo, you just don't like Adebayo.
No,
you listed all the other members except.
I know what I said. Yeah, I know. I mean, I just think for me, like, I mean, Adebayo's also like the most normal out of everyone. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so
that is true. Story, she doesn't really have a quirk as much as
exactly. And she's kind of like the straight man of the whole group. And I thought she was getting like really interesting when she went into like the, I guess this isn't a spoiler, when she went into the alternate universe and like, you know, things were happening around her. And I was like, oh, okay, like how is she going to react to this? Like how is she going to be like an actual, I guess, active character towards like things that are happening to her. But then that kind of gets just resolved quickly, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we don't have any more conflict with her anymore. That's what I'm saying. Like all the other characters, they seem to have like conflict, and Adebayo is just like, you know, there as a straight man, there to be Peacemaker's best friend, which, you know, her presence is very much admired for that. But I just wish she had more to do in terms of like something, you know, anything really. And yeah, like there were a lot of moments also within the character. Like I feel like Hardcore also just like lost it for me sometimes. Just like her storyline of like constantly like fighting in bars or whatever. Like I get it, her being aggressive. I get it, you know. I do think like the contrast of her.
She fights in bars. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I know. In case you didn't know, that's kind of her whole thing, her whole quirk, which they barely mention throughout the whole season, really. But yeah, no, like I also just like lost myself feeling interest in her. And yeah, I don't know, there was just like a lot of like little mini parts. Also, I don't think we ever mentioned the super eagle guy. I forgot his name already, but
the who?
The super eagle guy, the eagle hunter.
Oh yeah. I was gonna get into that in spoilers once we break into the nitty gritty of details.
For sure. But there was just like there was a lot of great things happening, and then I feel like the show but just like focused on other things that just weren't as interesting. And I get it, like that's to build tension, that's to like obviously not like blow your load on everything, but it's just I thought Peacemaker season 1 was so clean, so focused on Peacemaker's journey. Yeah,
well, season 1, sorry to interrupt you, I just want to say season 1 was a perfect season of television.
For sure.
He really like was successful. Like he knocked out of the park with that season. So
he was in his bag.
I think it would have been really, 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 really difficult for him to match that.
No, and I don't envy like Gunn's kind of position that he's in right now of like not only making a interesting season of television for these characters that like are admittedly not all of them are the most interesting people, while also simultaneously building up this whole like franchise behind himself, the whole DC universe quite literally behind him, like making people interested in that as well, like focusing on these small aspects and also focusing on this like gargantuan, you know, life-ending things. Like it's not an easy task. I don't see how anybody could do that. To get the season of television that we did this year, there is something to be admired in that. You know, because it wasn't bad. There's no world where I would say the season was bad at all. And I think that's like a feat to begin with, but I might just also feel gun fatigue. You know what I mean? I might just be like, okay, I get it.
That's 100% a factor. I think he made a mistake releasing 3 of his focus projects in a row, with Creature Commandos and Superman, and then this. Mm-hmm. And I, you know, not saying that I wouldn't call what I have gun fatigue, but I'm just excited to hear a new voice in the DCU.
Yeah.
So I think Supergirl's gonna be really refreshing next year.
I hope so.
So and Lanterns. That's before.
Yeah, and Clayface as well. Like I'm very excited that we're not gonna get anything gun related for the next like year or so. Just to like see all the variety and what we can do in this universe. You know what I mean? Yeah. I hope it's something interesting. Yeah, we can go on to spoilers if you like.
Okay, yeah, so this is your spoiler warning. If you guys haven't finished the season or you plan to, now's a good time to click off. So one thing I think that definitely dragged this season, not even the season, but the last few episodes down, was the expectations that James Gunn himself kind of put on the episode.
Sure.
The episodes he called the finale like the craziest, the most amazing, wildest thing he's ever done. Which, like I said, the finale is the worst episode of the season. So I don't know how he thought that. Really, in my mind, I would say the finale was more episode 7, with episode 8 being more of a epilogue of sort.
Yeah.
But it's not, right? This is the finale, and so we have to look at it like that. And so the finale was definitely a little bit disappointing. It was more of a flex of his Spotify podcast playlist.
Yeah.
It had like 5 different montage like music sequences.
That's what I mean too. And let me just interrupt you real quick. Like, I just felt like the finale also just wasted a lot of my time. You know what I mean? With like montages and things that I didn't really need to see. All of the needle drops and everything. I'm like, can we just get somewhere, please? Can we do something right now, and not just like sit in this like moment of music, which is like, yeah, it's nice music or whatever, but I don't care. That's not what I'm watching Peacemaker for.
Yeah. What's it called? It was one of the longer episodes of the season, and I definitely feel like it was probably the episode that definitely could have been the short. Like this, I wouldn't, if all the other episodes were a normal length, I wouldn't mind this one being short, because I feel like there was a lot of stuff in here that could have been like cut out. And also afterwards, he kind of said something about maybe Deadpool being in the Deadpool like at one point in the script, and it's just like, I think sometimes you need to stop. Like, James Gunn is too active on social media and too active with the fans, where sometimes I think you just gotta let the work speak for itself. Like, I don't think the reception of the episode would have been as bad if the crazy hype that he put on it was if that wasn't on the episode, and the expectations weren't there of some crazy cameo of Booster Gold or Blue Beetle or some crazy Man of Tomorrow setup and Superman showing up or whatever crazy nonsense people were speculating. Freaking Flurry is Martian Manhunter. People had some crazy theories. You can't say these things and not follow up on that, which is kind of an issue that the earlier Disney Plus Marvel shows had. And so I hope that he learns his lesson, and in the future he just lets I like how he's active on social media and responds to the fans. That's a great aspect. But there's levels to it, and you need to see what to respond to and what's just like nonsense that you can ignore.
That is an aspect of James Gunn that is like somewhat concerning to me. His activity online, like, especially considering the things that he said online in the past, like essentially what initially got him canceled. I don't think like I don't think he's gonna do like something like that again or say something like that again. I don't really care either. It's more of just like making yourself that accessible to people online, and like objectively having reactions to what people say online, because like you can see that he also like sometimes reacts like to like negative comments, being like, bro, like,
he responds to people.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, just like having those reactions like out there, I just feel like that could put you in a precarious situation in the future, where just like, bro, just like the best course of action here is to just ignore it all. Just like let it be, you know, like you said, let the work speak for itself. And I don't need to hear about James. I like him I guess from what we know of him as a person, based on his work and based on his social media activity, I like him as a person, you know. From the little we know, I don't need to like him as a person. I just need to like his work. I think it's a plus that I like him, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I really just want the work for itself. I like the activity online, but I also don't need it. If he one day was like, you know what, I'm just gonna quit it. You know, I'm just gonna not be on social media anymore. I'd be like, all right, bro, focus on your writing, which is already good. Just make it better, make it great.
Yeah. I think so. That was a big issue with this finale, was the whole James Gunn thing. But with that being said, let's kind of talk about what does go on, like, you know, in the season and in the finale. So Rick Flag Sr. Abduct. So they form. Okay, let me start over. Hardcore and Peacemaker, they get together. The 11th Street kids become Checkmate with a few new auditions of Sacha Bordeaux, Flurry, and Judo Master, which I don't mind at all. Love those characters, so I don't mind. And then the show ends because James Gunn said there won't be a season 3, so I guess this is how the show's officially going to be ending. Is that Rick Flag Sr. kidnaps essentially Peacemaker and shoves him into an alternate universe that he calls Salvation, which is based on the comics. And pretty much the plan is to imprison all the metahumans here. So I guess this is the first idea of what we have as a general storyline for this first phase of the Gunverse, right? And I'm sure this is the plot point that's going to continue over into Man of Tomorrow. And I'm sure, for my understanding, is that it's rumored to have a big impact on Lanterns as well. So that's what he was teasing. That was the big thing that he was teasing that everybody took way too far. And I think it was an interesting reveal for maybe in the middle of the season and have the rest of the season follow up from there, or even I guess have it as set up for a season 3, but like confirm that season 3 is going to be happening. But later that night, he said that season 3 is not going to be happening, but these plot lines and characters will come back in other projects. So that is something I'm not crazy about.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I mean when I say that, like, the whole season builds up to about pretty much nothing. Because, well, just to go a little bit more back before Salvation, before the whole Salvation reveal. What they decide on, like, after seeing all the crazy kooky events that happened throughout this season, they're like, oh, we're gonna make a team of our own, and we're gonna call it Checkmate and this and the other, and it's gonna be cool. And so we have this team now at the very end, and I'm like, great. So what are y'all actually gonna do? Like, I know it's a team that exists in the comics. I know they but they exist as like part of the government in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. Here they're a completely separate entity.
It's run by Waller. It's a
there
Waller
you go.
Thing.
Exactly. But here outside in the show, it's like a completely separate entity from both the government and like the metahumans. They're like their own thing, and I'm just like, this means nothing to me. Checkmate means nothing to me. Whatever conclusion, because there is no action. If kind of what you said happened, where in the middle of the season, like they announced Salvation, and also like they made some sort of Checkmate or called themselves something like that, and then like made the office at the end. I don't know if Checkmate actually did something as a group, and then like the season ended, then I would have been like I would have been more satisfied. I would have been like, okay, I actually know what these people are about. I know what they're gonna do. I know how they can affect the world around them. But up to this point, they're just a group of losers. You know what I mean? Like, they're nobodies. And then and now they have their main guy lost through it all. Like, how are they going to continue with it without having a Peacemaker now being in Salvation? Like I said, I'm sure that like 3-4 years down the line, I might think differently of the season now, knowing how these things are going to pay off and seeing how one thing leads to another. But just existing in the now, existing with the piece of TV that we have now, it's just like it just felt so. It felt so like ass. It felt like a waste of time. And yeah, like Salvation as itself was a cool concept. I like the fact that Peacemaker is there. Speaking a little about Rick Flag, like I kind of like how he's a villain, like how evil he is for vengeance against Peacemaker. I never really liked him as a character, like in terms of like I was never really on his side at any point, but I liked him being this like villainous like guy that he is. Yeah, I like that whole aspect of him of like forging Peacemaker's signature. I just wish we actually got something. I wish, like you said, like a confirmation of a season 3. He's probably gonna be in Superman at doing something. Who knows? I honestly don't care until we get like some more news about that movie, or until that movie really comes out. But that's just what I feel like. I feel like I'm just waiting for something in the future, and then who knows what's gonna happen with Superman. We might just be waiting for something in the future for after that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of like I guess afraid of feeling constantly unsatisfied.
Yeah, it's definitely the Marvel problem of just not following up on plot lines like this. They get set up.
Yeah.
And I, I, I just need to see how this is. I guess the first like dangling plot line of the DCU, right?
For sure.
This is the first like plot line, so we don't know exactly how the DCU is going to handle stuff like this. So I don't want to be too quick to count it out because I mean, like you said, Man of Tomorrow is what, a year and a half away. I'm sure like it's going to get addressed in Lanterns. It's going to get mentioned, confirmed by Gunn. Gunn said it ties into Lanterns.
Yeah.
So that's in January. We're going to get more stuff on it. And then if this really is like the big story that they're trying to have of like metahumans being imprisoned, I'm sure that'll have something to do with Supergirl as well. Maybe it'll even end with Supergirl getting locked up into in Salvation, right?
It'll end with her going to rehab.
I don't know. I'm just like, James Gunn hasn't disappointed me yet, and so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
For sure. I mean, I'm still a full in James Gunn we trust a believer. I just hope this actually pans out to something. And I also think it's important to kind of like recognize that, hey, this wasn't enough. Whatever you think that this was, whatever you think that this was like the big finale, James Gunn, like you need something more, brother. Like give us something more.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of all my thoughts on the season. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I guess just like one final thing is that like just a symptom of everything going on in the season is just it just kept introducing like these interesting ideas but never really paying off on it, with Salvation, with Checkmate, with the alternate universe being like this, like I mainly mean here like the alternate universe, Nazi world or whatever. I thought there was a lot of different interesting angles that you could like play that, and through Peacemaker we see some of those, especially like his dad not being a Nazi and just like the government that exists inside it. I guess like the show itself isn't about this alternate universe, like the season itself isn't about this alternate universe, so like we can only focus on it so much. But I would just love for these concepts to be explored a little bit more than they are, because we really only see like, I hope so.
I think they will be. I hope this is like spinning off into some like Peacemaker movie. They also kept his brother alive in that Nazi universe, so there's definitely like another like reason for them to revisit it. And I think whenever they do is when they'll really dive deep into it. I think they really wanted this season to focus onto the characters to get them where they wanted, where James wanted them to be, so that they can continue on in the story.
Sure, I mean I could see that.
I also could just be glazing, so who knows.
No. I agree with your point, and I do think like at the end of the day, like they kept introducing these elements, moreover not for the elements to exist in themselves, but just as symbolic of like where the characters are, or not symbolic, but just as a vehicle to represent where the characters are, where they want to be, yada yada yada, this and the other, and like like it concluded with a satisfying conclusion to their character arcs. But anything outside of that, Peacemaker being like really the only character that like I'm really like vying for more screen time for, is just kind of its detriment. I think he needs to make more interesting, either make more interesting characters or make more interesting things happen to these characters. I think that's other than Peacemaker, I think that's the season's biggest flaw.
Yeah. I agree, but overall I would say I enjoyed the season, and I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen next with these characters. For sure. I'm still hyped for everything after this. Like you said, Lanterns, Supergirl, Clayface, and then eventually Man of Tomorrow. I can only hope good things. I can only expect good things. Yeah. So I believe that's a wrap for episode 9 of Popcorn Problems. Thanks for joining us, and if you made it this far, you're the real MVP. We'll be back this time next week breaking down Blumhouse's big new Halloween release, The Black Phone 2. In the meantime, hit us up on socials at Popcorn Problems Pod, and let us know what you thought of Peacemaker or Tron Ares if you'd like. Don't forget to follow, rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're using, and make sure to DM us your hottest takes and suggestions. See you next time.
Have a good one.
Peace.